talk a little about the Starfarers setup. Very much the same as the Planeteers in terms of the deck, which is to say, in 4 players, all the start cards are out in people's hands because you get 2 each plus a time card. The other 4 time cards are shuffled into here, and then there's 4 remaining start cards which are available in that opening stance. Your discoveries. Remember, exploration is by system as is builds. So the chits are divided into the primaries and secondaries. They're not divided up into different exploration values. You don't know what you're going to get. There's also these aliens. Some of the cards, some of the things upgrade into aliens, essentially. What else? Of course, you keep all the stuff that you had in your infrastructure, but you lost all your cards again. You're going to notice everybody's got 3 teams instead of 2 at the beginning of the game, or at the beginning of the era. The reason for this is that because teams take a while to make their way to a star after they move, you need the extra teams, or else you're going to just have turns where you can't do anything with your teams. So that's one of the facets there. Over here we'll be using the 3rd column here, but this one is going to be worth 6, 7, 8 points if anybody gets bases in 3 non-adjacent regions. So that becomes an exceptionally valuable thing to go with. In addition to some more adaptations and breakthroughs that are added in the Starfarer, we've got these colonies. Now remember how colonies are created. You get a certain number of points for bases and whatnot that you have established in a particular region. Well, if you collect enough points, your colonize action, you try to get enough dots. Now, the way these are associated is a little weird. They have a number on the side of the counter, which tells you the number of players that they apply to. So this is only available in a 4-player game. This one's available in a 2, 3, or 4-player game. Some of them are not available because, for example, this looks like a 2-player game, only one, and they're just aligned in such a way that, you know, some of them don't work in certain numbers of players, some of them are too valuable in certain numbers of players, so something similar is in play, but it's got a higher cost or something like that. So that's just one of the facets here. So like whenever your opponent colonizes, get 2 talents. Whenever an opponent or the competition in the 1-player game colonizes, you get 1. So these 2 are similar in effect, but they're balanced for the number of players. So those excess are over there. Something I don't know the answer to, which is some of them have a little number over here. I don't know what that's all about. I know that, like this guy, I think those have to do, I think some of them were produced as excess counters, maybe as an option or something. It's not spelled out anywhere. Does it say how many? It says all of them. There will be 20 colonies with 4 players. Let's see if we actually have that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe they serve some other purpose, but they're not explained, and I just have no idea. A couple of things we didn't do yet is I didn't do the Beyonds. So the player with the first Beyond can set up one of their 3 teams in Alpha Centauri on the star symbol there. So here's the first Beyond, and these are going to come out of the game. Alpha Centauri, they're actually there, which means they can do stuff. And then the second Beyond is not quite as exciting. It's in the Lumen 16-inch region. I don't know. Placing the team in the box furthest from the star. Not anywhere near as big an advantage. That's yellow. The Lumen 16, that looks like it's this. It doesn't have the inch in it. And that'll be way out here. It's going to take a few turns to get there. But they've already gotten the movement there, which is kind of all that the Beyond markers really say, is that you moved somewhere. In the Planeteers, though, they gave you an exploration, which is a little cooler. All right. Anything else exciting? Not that I can think of. I'm not feeling too hot right now, so I think I'm not going to push it and actually get any playing in tonight. I think I'm going to start the playing tomorrow, but yeah, after work or whatever. Forward to Starfarers. Once again, blue manages to have gotten the first beyond counter. So they're the ones going first. And we maintain the player order otherwise. You don't like try to balance that out and swap seats. Which might make a little sense. I don't know. Alright. So what are we looking for doing here? We've got an E4 that we need to get. Well, I have that easily. Do I want to just do that? Sure. Other option is to get somebody moving right now. Do I have enough movement to do something? That's another interesting possibility because I'm not going to have the build capabilities, etc. for what I want to do. So let's take a look at what my movement would be. I have 7. I need shielding? No. I get shielding for free here. So I have 7, 12, up to 36 movement. That could get me to one of these 2 locations. It's not enough to get me anywhere else. I hate to use up this move 3. That's kind of the problem with this. Because of, I'm sorry, the Explore 3, because that's got that big move times 3. But it's only a start card, so I guess we'll burn it in the sense that I just don't see anything else I can do easily. And we draw a primary, which is alien culture. Let's start things off real quick, real early. Okay. So we draw an alien, and we get the filets. That gives me $2. And at this point, the game is actually really different. It's harder to interfere with other people's stuff because of these tracks. It's always been hard to play around in somebody else's little world. Okay, and I get a genetic and a revelation. The genetic gives me a genetic advantage. I have some more open. Let me think. I would love the radiation resistant. I can't do that. I probably want to get a victory point off of it. Whenever you build a base on a primary, you may choose to place a second different base there. That's an interesting option. Can't do this. You need 2 breakthroughs for that. Whenever you do a production, the opponent with the most profits loses 1. That's a nice tiebreaker type thing. Am I in the lead? If I was in the lead, that would be really, really appealing. But where I am right now, let one of the leading players pick that sucker up. Colony point, that can be really huge. What about some of these others? When you draw an E3, nah. When you use an opponent's infrastructure or base, not as likely to be happening in this world. Well, infrastructure I might use. I don't see too many that have anything I'm really excited about. Maybe this for movement. Otherwise, I've got, and same over there. Otherwise, I've got pretty good infrastructure. So yeah, I think I'm going to go for the adaption. And that gets me another point. That will be appealing. This is worth 2 colony points. It's got water and life, which is very helpful because, well, I could get a colony point from that, from industrial. But there are other things I can do, among others, the shield factory is kind of appealing to give me this base as a means of moving out from it. So yeah. Alright. And I get my draw. Another time card. Not really what I wanted. Time cards are kind of cool because you can launch 2 moves off a big move or something like that with this. And that can help you get established really quickly. Alright, let's look at the next. Well, the first thing is they start shifting. Beyond that, yeah, I probably got to get somewhere else. What do I have towards getting somewhere else? I'm radiation resistant, so getting this shielded movement, maybe not so big a deal. Oh, let me look at see what my bonuses are. First colony, colonies with at least 15 value. Bases in 3 non-adjacent regions, which is the big one. That's worth 8 points. That people should be reaching for that, but I'm going to have trouble remembering that. Bases in 3 multi-star systems, 6 progress cards, non-starter Starfarer and 3 infra slots. That's probably one of the easiest to get, but it's also low payoff. Bases in 5 regions. Most of the others are really end of the game victory point things. Okay. So I would like to get moving and maybe throw both my teams out. How do I do that? Well, right now I have movement of 10, 20, and that's not going to get me anywhere. My time card could shoot me out to 40, which still doesn't sound very good. It's like 50 is about the cheapest that I can get to anywhere. Unless I want to go play in somebody else's world, which again, not a good idea in this one. So, what do we do? Of course, we can always research, which doesn't look very appealing. Or we can upgrade infrastructure, which doesn't look very appealing because this is our only infrastructure card. But this is a really crappy card. So I am going to go for the infrastructure upgrade, increasing my movement a little bit, and get a card. Now I got something that I probably do want to upgrade for infrastructure, and yeah. Oh shit. Hold on. Let's back up a little bit. I had more movement than I thought. Let's see. I don't have to worry about that card, but 4, 9, 15, 25 movement, which I could bring up to 50. That can get me somewhere. So yeah, I'm actually going to play all of the cards to get somewhere. 50 can get me out to Epsilon Eridani, which is a richer star in and of itself, or out to Lucale, which puts me close to other stars. Jeez. I don't know which way to go. If I had 2 moves of 50, that would be fantastic. I don't. Eridani looks like it's harder to get the builds and everything, so I'm going to go out to Lucale here and sail out there. And then I get this card. And I'm a lot happier with the results of that, but that's not why I did it. I did it because I hadn't noticed my adaptation. And I don't want to bone my players too much because of my inattentiveness. In kind of a shitty position. Not a lot of movement. I got 4 movement. Now I can pay to grab somebody else's movement. 10 looks like the best I can pull off. I could time card that and get it out to 20. Still not enough to do anything. And my other cards don't look like they help. I have no infrastructure I can upgrade. Research looks like the thing to do. Is there anything out there that I'm like, geez, I really want? Well, those are all start cards. That 2 victory points if I upgrade infrastructure with other things. So I'm going to draw off the top of the deck. And that gets me a produce. I can at least get a couple of victory points off that. The move times 3. Will that help me? A 30 move, which is the best I can do with it right now, still doesn't get me shit. So I draw again. Much better. Much better. Let's see about purple. Also, not set up with a beyond card. Decent amount of movement though. I got 10 movement sitting with me. I can bring that up to 20. It can go to 40. 40 doesn't sound like enough. It's close, but it's not quite enough. Do I want this fusion booster somewhere? Well, you know, Explorer is kind of interesting because you don't need to do a lot of it anymore. And then again, my build card is kind of crappy. So I have something I can throw out for infrastructure. And by getting a lot of movement out there, maybe other people will do something. Seems better than the research card. So I am going to get rid of this build card and just optimize for movement. Partially in the hopes that other people will take, will use me. Ooh. When somebody takes a breakthrough with 2T award, you take the non-award card if available. Wow, that's a nice little jump. Yeah. And since I'm not close, might be what I'm doing. Okay. In a crappy position because just getting a time card. I don't have enough to do the build really. If I built a shield base there, I could get a build of 6. That doesn't do me what I need for this. With hybrids I have that bonus, so I might be able to do a couple of different things that'd be kind of cool. So I think it's research time. We need to get our movement together. Alternatively, I could throw the infrastructure in play, but I need the build, so it's like I can't really optimize for movement. What if I look there? 15 movement. I could get to 20 movement. That could get me to 40. Again, a little short. So let us draw. Do we want to draw? Is there anything here that I look at and I say, oh, I definitely want that? That ×3 movement, that's pretty good. Let's draw one from the deck and see what we get. We get a better movement. So I'm going to draw my second one also from the deck. And I get myself some better build capability too. So I can't be too unhappy with what I got. Oh. Yellow. Yellow has a lot of ships flying around. Is there anything I can do? Well, I need an E4 here. I need an E4 here. If I had a time card, E4 would be good. I am actually capable of doing research and getting a draw. So let's do research. We'll pull off the top of the deck first. That's kind of sweet. Either grab some victory points or move up on the revelation. And it's hard to tell which one's better. It's still early. Getting that revelation could be really, really valuable. But a produce 2, well, I can only use it once, but I get 3 victory points. What about that second one? Do I want to succeed once with the Explorer? Not necessarily. I'm going to draw again because I'm looking for... Okay, so that's kind of sweet. And now I get my draw at the end of the turn as well. When an opponent produces, you gain victory points equal to half of what they gain. That's kind of nice. Try to remember that I have that out there. Okay. Green hasn't left the planet yet. Okay, there's a big 15 movement out there. 15 times 4 is 60. That sounds like I could do double moves. I've got a time card. Wow. 60, yeah? And this is cool for secure bases. If I build them, I get money for nearby bases, which are within 20. So I can kind of look to where other people are and aim for that because I have this special breakthrough. Okay, so we were talking about 60 movement. Huh? That could get me out here, which is kind of not near anyone. Epsilon Indy is close to where he's going, so let's do that one. And we're going to play a time card. Let's see about the other one. Okay, the other two options that I really have open to me are getting down here, Cygni and Groombridge, or Epsilon Eridani and Tau Ceti. What does my build structure look like? My build, nobody's got a lot of infrastructure that I could steal, is around 9, which could get me Epsilon Eridani. But it probably can't get me Cygni. So I think I'm going to also move out to Epsilon Eridani. Let me chuck those there. Nobody can pick this shit up. And we got our cards down, so we get a draw. Genetics, yay. And that's cool because I got a couple of guys out, you know, moving slowly. So there's a lot less rush out and do something with your teams in this particular era of the game. Okay, I probably do not want that revelation yet. What's my movement? 15. I could go up to 20, and I could double it to 40. Still not good enough. Purple, not happy. We kind of need one of those move multipliers. I think that's what it comes down to. So, what do we do? We could just play the revelation, but that doesn't seem good. I think we do research again. We'll draw one off the top, see what we get. We get this. When conducting an action this turn, you may use infra on up to 2 headquarters without paying. Oh, shit. He got this already as a payment for this guy using his movement. Okay, so actually I have this in hand now. So I could actually combine my movement with someone else's. That gets me to 15, 20 plus possibly someone else's movement, which could get me up to 30. Still not enough. I could go up to 60 with this, but I feel like I can use this in conjunction with someone else's to move 2 teams using my time card. I think I want to claim some space. So I am still going to do my research, I think. The only other option is to throw the revelation down and get a draw. I think the research is more valuable. I probably want a multiplier. So yeah, so I'll draw one off the top, see what I get. That's not going to help me. And I am going to pull one of these multipliers. I don't get a draw for the turn. And I got to remember to keep. This one is not really available. And this shows up. Ooh, move times 2 infrastructure. That's sweet. Alright. Go for the build. Blue is looking at, hey, I got a lot of movement capability right now. First of all, what about just using my own? 7, 12, 48 move. That's not really enough to get me anywhere. But if I use him, I've got 15, 20, 80 movement, which I could do for 2 teams. It's worth paying him a card again. So this is where having a lot of infrastructure is really great. If you're clearly so much better than everyone else, they're willing to throw you cards. Now, you can see purple's not doing too badly. Victory's quite wise. They're not established very well on the board, but these cards that they're getting are going to help them. This, not as good. 10, 15, plus he's in the lead. I don't see really making the choice in favor of a player who's doing worse, and he's well established already. So let's see what we got here. We were talking about 10, 15, 20, 80 movement with possibly 2 time cards. And you can see, or with possibly a time card. Well, almost definitely a time card. This is instead of doing the build here. You can see that very valuable sets of cards are coming out where somebody would gladly scoop them up. Okay. 80 is a lot of movement. That could get me out to Captain Star. Groombridge, which looks like a shitty place to go. But maybe no worse than Wolf. I'm already, kind of on the way to Wolf. Here. So I think what I'm going to do, 30, 50, 60, not such a great place anyway. Capitain's looks good at 70. It's got two locations on it. That means I get like 3 bases there because it's only my primary that gets there. And Groombridge has 2. It's not all that cheap. We're kind of looking at that 3 not nearby as being highly possible for us because we're getting our teams out there. And the other option is out here. I don't really see too much advantage to that. It's a little cheaper to build and everything, but I'm not going to be able to get here otherwise. So let's kick this here. Nobody can scoop these. Start card for this era. I could have upgraded that, and this is a time card. He gets the first card if it matters. Yum, yum, yum. And I get a card as well. Play at the beginning of your turn, take 2 turns instead. Might be valuable. Okay, so for yellow, one of his guys arrives. I've got some interesting choices. Move times 4. I don't think I really want to move, although 15 times 4, 40, 50, 60 movement without paying anyone. Does that get me somewhere I want to go? I could get out to Taucetti, and that would actually put me in place for the 3. The alternative there is a quick search here at Lumen 16. Which if I get a time card, I could actually search both of these. Yeah. Wait, 15 times 4. I really like the idea of grabbing territory. So I think I'm going to do that 60 move and go out to Taucetti instead, because that's pretty sweet. I draw a card. Lots of tough choices there, aren't there? Alright, I keep turning the camera off because I feel like I need to think, but I don't really need to think too much. Green slides forward twice. I get a genetics card. I think it's better to fire off the genetics than grab a couple of victory points at this point in the game. Because we're going to get something. What do we take? Good question. We have an advance card already, but it's not an adaptation. It's a breakthrough. So we're not going to get something off that. So now I have to think a little bit. I don't have 2 breakthroughs. I probably want to get something. Yellow's in pretty good shape. They would be hurting purple and keeping their victory situation ahead there. That's appealing. Extra colony point, that's really, really nice, actually. using an opponent's base without giving it a reward. But it's just a base. No, it's infra or base. Yeah, so I could like use that big movement. I don't know if I need that so much now. A little while ago that would have been great. I'm really torn between these two. I'm going to go for this one because I am in the lead. And I feel like this is a card for the leader. And I get a draw. Marvel's already expended a lot to set themselves up on this movement. They've got a whole handful of cards. I got 2 move times 3s. It would be great to throw one of them out there as an infrastructure. But I don't have any non-start infrastructure from this era. So I'm not really succeeding in aiming for that. It looks like somebody's going to get bases in adjacent regions. How big a move can I manage? It's 15, 20, 60. I could do up to 180. Unfortunately, there's a lot of the territory's been eaten up already. You know? So we're probably looking at maybe holding this infrastructure card and using these 2. Although I hate using that big explorer up. I don't know. I want to get 2 of my things in play though. So we're talking about like 80. Wolf isn't a bad choice. I could go for a couple of ones that have a primary and a secondary. This is more expensive though because it's a double star, and that actually makes it more expensive in a number of ways. 30, 50, 60. This has a primary, secondary. And 70, yeah. I think we're going to go for the 80. The question is whether I want to keep this infrastructure for a potential later move. Or if I want to have enough exploration built up that, you know, it's easier to do things. I think I'm going to hold the infrastructure. Maybe in the hopes of getting a card a little later when somebody does something. So, 20, I said 60 doubled. 60 doesn't do it. Why 10, 15? I got this. That's potent too. Why was this a problem? 20, 60. Yeah, it was 189. Okay, so 60, I'd rather not use up all the cards. So 60 will get me down to Signy or Gloombridge. And LaCale. I think I'd rather use the 60 and go a little cheaper. That gets me down to 4 cards anyway. So yeah, 30. This is the other LaCale. 30, 50, 60 to there. That's got a B6, E7. The E is big, so I'm going to go out to this one as well. Get rid of these. Things I kind of like about this game is I don't feel like I really have to reserve things, build for the future, do all that kind of pre-planning type stuff. And I know, you know, hey, shallower game, right? Well, actually, I just kind of enjoy that kind of play more. And when I'm sitting down for a Euro or something, I'd rather have something where I can just kind of play it by gut. And in this case, you know, I look at this and I'm like, well, you know, I could upgrade this infrastructure in preparation for the builds that I'm going to need, and exploration as well, and get rid of this old movement infrastructure that I don't terribly need. I may also use this right now. Yes, that move times 4 is great, and I may need it a little later, but maybe I don't. And it's better to play it now and get my turn out of the way, and get it out of the way for my turn. So I'm gonna take 2 turns in a row. So for the first turn, we move forward, and I think we are indeed going to upgrade that infrastructure and get rid of the start card. Because I didn't have quite enough to do the build there. Sure, I could build up, but you know, or I could play my time card, but the hell with it. And my draw is an even better build card. Now, at this point, I think I do want to do my build. I've got enough exploration. Okay, so these 2 push forward. I've got enough exploration to be close to exploring these, but I can't do both. I can't do them. The time card might work with that. So I think what I'm going to do, I could play this produce, but it would only get me 3 victory points. But the build 5 will get me, ooh, huggies. I'll get me the capability to build at Alpha Centauri, because I've got 4, 5, 6, 11 build. I don't have to build the shield factory if I don't want to, but that'll help me with the movement there. So I think I'm going to do that. Let me think. I'm definitely going to take a biolab. I like biolab. And that cranks this one forward. Let's take a look. Because Spaceport is kind of interesting in this. It doubles a move coming from it, which is a little stronger than otherwise. I might need that, but this is only a 50. If I don't build the shield factory, my move out of there is going to be painful. So I am indeed going to build that. Remember, I get the capability to build twice with a single build, so that's kind of cool. And these both go here. Nobody's got the capacity to steal them. This guy's got his cards face up for some reason. Let's go think about yellow. Yellow's got a little bit of a problem. They don't have the exploration capacity to explore either of these two. They didn't explore 4. I could pay a card to blue to get a jump on things. I think it's worthwhile. I think the fact that I don't have a time card and I gotta work so many different things, I think that's where I want to go. I'm gonna build this one first. It's not like anybody's invading me or anything. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a card in exchange for drawing a primary over here. And I get this, which gives me $2 and a genetic. The genetic is cool because I'll be able to make a genetic advance for that. And technically, I have claimed it. And he's out a card. At the end of an opponent's turn, take all the cards they discarded into your hand. There it is. He's the one who played the last big card play, and now he gets a card as well. Whew. We really want to get breakthroughs. Star Child thing, whatever, is awesome. Alright, now I will think about green. Green hasn't reached location with anything. I don't have enough movement to go anywhere. I could draw more stuff. I have a good deal in terms of explore cards. How about my build? My build capability, well, this is huge. Wow, I've got big expenses coming up. So yeah, I think instead of playing the genetics, where I'm not really in place for it, I'm going to do a research. Because it looks to me, I got enough build for that. Do I have enough explore? I have enough explore to do one of them. Maybe I just do produce. Grab 2 victory points, I don't know. I would be able to hurt purple with this as well. Advantageous? Sure. I'm going to do the produce. So I get 1 and I hurt purple by 1 because of my silent partnering. And I get a card, which is a nice card. A very nice card. On to purple. It's also kind of in a behind the 8 ball type situation. I mean, they're not set up to do what they want to do. They just launched their stuff, so it's going to take a while to get there. I don't have enough movement without using my really bonus card, which, I mean, I could throw another 10 movement in. So I've got 10, 15, could be 25. I could go up to 75 movement and get somebody pretty much anywhere. That might be my best move. It does kill my big build card, but maybe I'll get more stuff as I go. Pumping my revelation, I don't know. You know, I don't know what my chances of increasing that is. With research, I could do it, but there are usually other things you want to do unless you're already close, you know. Pumping it over with the research base, fine, but for the most part, you don't get that many bases when you do explore it, when you do building here. So gosh, this would be huge though. So let us say we do what? I don't know. Yeah, I play this to get an extra 10 move. So now I'm at 10, 25, 75. Where do I want to go with 75? I could get to Wolf. Wolf is pretty good. 30, 50, 80 to Ross. That doesn't help me. I don't want to compete with somebody else directly. So yeah, I'm going to go to Wolf for 75. This is a pretty good set of cards. Do I need that move times 3? Not particularly. Do I need the build card? The build card is huge. That would let me... Like, I could get a huge movement off of this. Does blue need a huge movement in the near future? They do not. Other infrastructure out there doesn't really crank us. So I think I'm going to hold off on playing that. Probably regret it. And that gets us back around to the start. Except we get a card here. And you may be thinking that I'm not keeping track of all the stuff. I'm moving these guys forward. I'm trying to remember the card play and everything. It's real easy, though, in this game, with all the sort of mechanical actions that take place, to forget something. So, you know, kind of a pity that you're not able to watch me for every single action like a hawk. But on the other hand, so far I feel pretty comfortable. I don't feel like I've definitely missed something yet. This has kind of gotten to the point where it wiped me out today. Wasn't even able to make it to work. Well, I made it. I wasn't able to stay. But, okay. So let's go on to blue. We have some arrivals. We're already here, which we could launch, but we do have a time card. And can we get an exploration big enough? It's a 7. We could, but I have this nice card that I'd have to blow for that. Another opportunity would be to play my genetics card as my turn. That would give me a draw, and then the question is, which genetics do I want? Do I want the radiation resistant, which is really a great one? But I could take, there are a couple of others that are appealing out here. This doesn't come with a bonus, a victory point bonus. Adaptation does, so I could borrow someone else's shielded operations. On the other hand, I already have shielded build operations. Of course, if I'm going to leave the planet, I'm going to need a shielded move, or I can do as I did before and build a shield factory so that I can leave that area fairly easily. And I may not be moving all of these cubes either. Some of them may not need to. So the radiation may be not as important as the victory point. Sensory focus, better chance of luck. This would be the time to grab it. I'd get more draws. That is intriguing. That would allow me to avoid bad draws like this one. And then probably the best of them, I can't get this one, is the Enviro Tolerance, which is worth a colony point. With my extra builds, I'm going to be able to get to the colony levels a little faster than other people are. In fact, I could calculate out my colony here. I could build a colony right now. I would want to do this first. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do the latter one of all of them. And that swings this around. I get the adaptation. Blue goes up a victory point. I think that's the way I'm most likely to get a bonus. Now that is not a breakthrough. This guy only gets something with breakthroughs. So I get a draw. And I get some exploration. And it's enough. Cool. And let me keep this card, because the chance of getting all the cards that somebody discarded being better than an Explorer 4, it's very high. So spending that on exploration seems painful. Yellow's thing forward. They're also in an interesting position. I need an Explorer here. I don't have a time card, but maybe I'll get one. I'm one short of exploring this, quite a bit of exploring this. Here, what about a build? I got enough, I could do a build. And I could build a shield factory. I don't need that. I could just upgrade this as infrastructure. On the other hand, the genetics cards are disappearing quickly. I have a genetics 2. Maybe it's time to throw that on the board. My production, yeah, it's not late enough in the game. I want to turn this around quickly. So I too am going to do a genetics operation. And I also have a 2 revelation, but that doesn't quite get me there. So maybe I'll build like a research station or something like that to get the breakthrough. Of course, if I was wise, I would be getting star children. Let's think about this. Let's think more carefully. Let's be clever. Why don't we do the build? But to do the build, geez, I hate to do this, but I'm going to get rid of this. That's really old. Replace it with a build 5 infrastructure as my turn. And draw a card. The reason for that is my next build is going to be probably the research station, so that I get this up, and then I can do the revelation to get myself a breakthrough. No, that's not going to get me there. Shit. You know, I'm probably not going to be able to get Star Children. Yeah, this is what kills me in making decisions. I'm probably not going to get that. So let me think again. Because where I am, I don't need to do things. This card, I don't need to spend this card. What is a limited resource is the genetic spaces there. So we'll spend that. Which was my initial goal. Because I won't have 2 breakthroughs. I'll have lots of genetic things. I like the cooperative empathy better, so that I can use other people's stuff, I think. Other people have some pretty good stuff. That's really appealing. I'll take $1 for that. Yeah, sorry for reversing decisions, but it's just the nature of how I play. And okay, green has kind of a... I have enough movement. I could do something maybe. I have 4 times 4. No, that's only 16. If I used somebody else's movement, I could get somewhere. But I have 2 explorations built up. I would really like a time card. I'm going to do a research operation. Even though I'm at the 4, I spend a card, whatever, good things happen. I'm going to take 2 cards. The first one's the time card. That's exactly what I want. Now I need exploration. I have 3, 6, 8. I need at least 2 more points of exploration. I can guarantee that by grabbing one of these cards. I don't know which one's better. We'll grab this one. And that'll set us up to explore 2 systems at once next time. And a time card shows up for him to just pick up if he wants it. Purple's in transit. A lot of their things moving. Not much else I can do while I'm in transit. I could play my 2 revelations. However, I have a research 2 card. I can do a big research. Try to build up for my next thing. And I think that's probably where I want to go. Although I hate giving up the revelation card, this one is almost as good anyway. So we're going to do a research 4. Among other things, we grabbed the time card. 2, actually we should hold, but what are we looking for? We're looking for lots of exploration. We have 7. Okay, so we need to get explore 7. We got to 6. That's not enough. We'll keep drawing. 3rd card, not good enough. Whew. I could just grab an exploration, but I think I'll just draw from the top. Okay, well, not what I wanted, but I have another research. I can pull more cards as I get closer, so that's kind of nice. I feel like those time cards have become much more valuable now because the expense of the set of cards that you're laying down is a bigger thing than it is in the other decks. Now, not necessarily, but you know, you may well find yourself having to use somebody else's infrastructure. You may find yourself spending a lot of cards to do something. There's a lot of turns to build up the cards, etc. So research becomes a more viable option, I feel, at this point in the game than it does later. And there seem to be more research cards in the deck as well. I'm pooped just doing one cycle around. I'm definitely not going to be able to plow through this tonight, so maybe I'll be back a little later, but we'll see. So I guess for blue, the thing to do is the exploration, and I might as well double it up with the time card. Put these here for now. It leaves me with almost no cards, and I could have done a research first, but to some extent you kind of got to press things on, I guess. I don't know. I have enough that I can do my 2 7 explorations. I didn't leave there, so yeah, let's take a look at the first one here. I did not get that thing that lets me have extra draws, so we get a primary. Discard this and draw an alien. Interesting. Introvs. Okay. Some of these were special, and I'm not sure. Bases can't be built. So This is kind of shitty. It's got it in red, base 0. I guess that helps indicate it, but I would think, is that a 0 cost base? But yeah, you do have to kind of look these suckers up, and there's nothing on them that says, go look in the rule book right on the card. So you just have to be kind of used to it. Bases can't be built in this system unless the active player owns cooperative empathy or sensory focus. I do not have either of those. I do, however, get the two victory points for hitting them. A level of genetics, a revelation, and I get to still draw a secondary. That was kind of a shitty find for me. An alien outpost, that gets me 1 victory point. Another genetics, another revelation. I just got a revelation. It's time to deal with that. I have to think about it. I think I'm allowed to see what my other base would be. I'm not sure. I don't think I have to take my rewards immediately. So let's draw for that. A primary. Planetary system. That's worth an extra colonized point. Not very exciting. I hope I'm putting it in the right place. And an asteroid field. Okay, well this was kind of a shitty draw. This was a really interesting one, but I need cooperative empathy or sensitive something. I don't know. Sensory focus. He's got the cooperative empathy, at least one level of it. Sensory focus. Oh, what the hell that is. I'm having trouble seeing. That's the... I could have grabbed that. Definitely. Okay, so I get a breakthrough. What breakthrough do I want? Well, I can't immediately bonus myself. Quantum mechanics. I don't really like research bonus. Bonus exploration. I don't need that. Entangled transmitter. Immediately transfer one of your team's on Sol or at a star system to an empty star system, putting it directly on the star. And that gets me the ability to get the jump drive, which is appealing. Matter shifting. Immediately advance your genetics and your revelation 2 spaces each. That would get me a genetics thing. I could take the sensory focus and be able to land here. I think that's the one I'm going to take. And then infra transfer. At the end of your actions, you may automatically upgrade one. Oh, that's so sweet. But I really do want to take advantage of the system that I found. So I'm going to take the breakthrough, which gets me 2. And that allows me genetics and revelation both go up by 2. And I get a genetics, for which I'm going to take sensory focus. And now I'm like really rich in these. 6 progress cards. Okay, but we're quite far along the way. Now, this guy says, hey, somebody took a breakthrough with a award. I am going to just grab the non-award breakthrough as my bonus, which is the matter shifting. And that gets him a genetics. Well, no victory points on it, but now I could take a genetics one that has a victory point. None are available. I think the best one that I can take is the radiation one. That way I can not worry about shielding. I like that one a lot. And I think I'm set. And so blue had a pretty damn exciting turn, to tell you the truth. All told. Okay, and that'll move us over to yellow. I kind of like the way the game spirals and gets more complicated as you go. All games kind of, well, a lot of Euros kind of do that. But this one has a ramping up that's higher than most. And it may be a little too high. The concept I like in general, but so, I mean, you know, a lot of the civilization builder type ones and everything, the tech charts become more complex as you go, etc. But with this one, man, this was such a pleasant, easy game to begin with. And now the decision making is starting to feel like those modern overblown Euros, where I just have too many different things to look at and consider. Just not my taste where we go there. I really kind of liked the first two eras a lot better. For yellow, I don't have enough points to do an exploration. More importantly, I don't have a time card, because with cooperative empathy, I could probably find enough points for the exploration. Yeah? I've got a 4, I got a 7 over here, which is kind of painful. I have 3, and I have no cards in there. So what I'm going to do instead is the build here. I only need a build of 4. I have the radiation protection. I don't have a build 4 in hand, but I could use someone else's. What's the disadvantage to using someone else's? Well, I wouldn't be able to draw another card. I can basically get rid of a crappy card like these extruders that I really don't need by doing the build on my own. So I'm going to actually play this and just use my own infrastructure. I think I could just play the card anyway with someone else's. It doesn't make a difference. And what I'm going to build is a research lab and get myself a point towards a breakthrough, because I have 2 revelations in hand. Yes, I have a lot of production in hand, and I could conceivably do something with that. But I want to work on getting a revelation. There was something that needed 2 revelations, 2 breakthroughs. The Star Child, I would like to head towards that. But also there's victory points in these. It's just overall good, and I got a card here that I gotta flip up. Let me go. Green is gonna do a big turn. They have 2 locations where they have an Explore 10, they have a time card. I'm gonna play the time card and a lot of exploration, plus the 2 here. That will get me the draws. Now, he's gonna sweep these all up. So I'm just gonna do that right now. That's too good a pile to ignore. Okay. But the explorers themselves, over here, there's a primary. Anomaly, $2 and a rev. This is green. And bases will be more expensive here. Secondary, a genetics. And another secondary. Critical mission delay. Lose $2 and draw another tile. So green takes a hit, but they do get another one. Rings. Ooh. Okay, and this is all claimed, whatever. The other green, rich asteroid belt. That gets me up. Wow, we're falling way, way behind. I wonder if I'm moving someone else. Exotic life. I get the green and yellow confused very easily, and I wouldn't. Special discovery. It's a primary tile. Planetary system with exotic life. And you can see there's a lot of luck in the random draw. So that gets me a genetic as well. I get a genetic adaptation. Now, I do not have the radiation capability, and I don't have a lot going in favor of me for that. But I can't pick that sucker up. Star Children's not available, so now the real question is, what the hell? Is it worth more for me to grab this? The cooperative empathy is really, really valuable because I could use other people's capabilities. There's some good build capability over there, like 6 build. Of course, I have 3 on hand, a lot of movement out there. Unless there's some special rule on that, though, what it means is in the last stage of the game, I'm not as powerful as I am early. You know, I don't have that capability to use those. So let me look that up. See, when the end of the era is triggered, players are not allowed to use. I wish there was a, unless it does not give them a bonus. Because then this advance would make more sense. That other card that allows you to do it would be more clear one way or the other. And that would be an addendum that I would strongly support, because this card becomes really kind of iffy if you can't do that. Multiple bases. Well, I don't have water here. I have water here, but I don't have water here, which means it sucks. I'm going to need the build capability, so I'm gonna go with the cooperative empathy, even though it's really not what we want off this. And I think that's it for green. Did I draw for yellow? I don't know that I drew for yellow. Feels like I didn't. Shit. Yellow built their research base. I don't think they took a draw. I'm going to give them another card. Okay. And that brings me to purple. Again, especially as the game starts getting more complex, it becomes harder and harder to handle the mechanical aspects of so many different players. Even though playing non-solo, I could very much see people forgetting steps and everything as they're beginning to get more and more complicated turns. I know, probably modern Eurogamers are like, oh, screw that, man. I can handle everything in my head at once, because, like, I'm very trained for that, doing this kind of thing. Maybe. I'm not. I'm used to games where, I don't know, you don't have to juggle as many steps at once. Things aren't so simple. Right, so there's sort of this medium level that this game falls into. Very complex game, say World in Flames or whatever. You're just constantly like referring to the sequence of play and looking at things. This at the earlier levels and the later Euros, you can hold that all in your head. This is at a level where it's like, wow, there are things I'm going to forget, but it still feels simple enough, and I've kind of worked my way up to it that I feel like I shouldn't have to look in the sequence of play every damn turn. Purple's also in the position where they got 2 things lined up to be explored. They have Explore 6. I could give a card to someone. I would love to give a card to green. That's not going to work, though. The only person I could give a card to get this bonus is blue. Blue is not doing poorly on the victory chart, and it feels like, wow, but I'm getting more out of it than they are from their single card. So I'm going to use blue's big Explore 5 there, and I will go up to Explore 9, play my card. I have other options. I could do a research, whatever, but I'd rather not. I'd rather give an edge to someone. Okay, not that that's what it's called. So, this first one here, a primary, habitable, 2T, and a genetic. And this is purple. Secondary, icy asteroid field. Lots of water there, which is good, except I'm radiation resistant, so it's not as big a deal. Okay. And the other one here is a primary. By the way, the one that gives you 1 colony bonus clearly hybrids may be better because you can put a second base there. And I think number of bases adds into the colony calculation. Right? Well, industrial base does. 2 or more bases in the region. So you've got some capability of getting some advantages off that. Make your decisions one way or another, I don't know. Okay, primary, exotic asteroid belt, 2 talons. Whatever. Let's use Roman money. I don't know what the T stands for. 2 Terrans and a Rev. Oh, we just got a breakthrough. Let's position this up so I remember to grab it. And the secondary is planetismals. Well, what the fuck. Okay. So I have the matter shifting. I get another breakthrough. Which one would I like? I'd probably like monies the most. Extra research? That sucks. Infra transfer. Ooh, I like that, but I'm not sitting on any infrastructure right now. Which means I at least lose a turn of that. I'd love this, but not yet. Not yet. Right? I don't have the entangled transmitter. The entangled transmitter, transfer teams at Sol or a star system to any empty, putting it immediately where it goes. That might be my move. I don't know. Probe network. Explorers aren't all that common. Oh, wow. I'm kind of torn by a lot of these. I definitely want the victory points. So I'm going to focus on ones that give me victory points. And I like the entangled transmitter. That gets me somewhere. But here's the problem. That somewhere, I don't want to abandon places I'm already at. So let's pass on that. Let's take the infrastructure transfer. Overall, that's a really good capability. Am I hitting any of these yet? I don't have any colonies yet. I don't think anybody's hit 3 bases and regions. Progress cards. Yeah, people are getting close. Non-start Starfarer and 3 infrastructures, bases and 5 regions. I don't think we've got any of them yet. That looks like... It's not like people are going to steal things in this very easily. But I ought to have things marked as claimed. This is claimed. He's the only person who can get there. So I don't have any infrastructure. My actions are done. That means I'm going to get a draw, which might give me an infrastructure, but I can't use it right away. And that sucks, but I may do research in the hopes of getting an infrastructure card. So I start building up and taking advantage of that. And I think we end this edition of Starfarers here so I can load it up. And yeah, I mean, I'm showing a lot of the game. It's an opportunistic decision-making game. You know, it's not something that I feel like it tells that kind of rich, in-depth story. It feels more like Euros in which you're making these decisions. It's a little more complicated than the ones that I really like them at this point in the game. I liked the level of complexity it was hitting before. I know I watched a little bit of Heavy Cardboard, and they're like kind of shooting on it as it's not as complex as we expected, and it kind of shows, you know, what people expect from their Euros. It ain't high frontier, but I wouldn't expect it to be that. I expect it to take it back a bit from that, and it definitely does in a lot of ways. Here, though, it's beginning to get that cost of the stuff, and actually the guy talking about it was like, yeah, it's the third era that's the most interesting, and to me it's the third era that's kind of the least interesting because it's burning me too much. It's just too much for a Euro.